Okay, one thing I would like to say before we begin is those that have this type of mic in front of them, please keep it off unless you want to speak. It is multi-directional and it causes feedback, so have it off unless you want to speak, then you turn it on, then turn it off again right away, okay? Okay, let's begin our agenda by the approval of the January 5th delegate meeting. May I have a motion, please? Okay, second? All right, are there any changes or corrections? Okay. We're all ready to go. All those in favor of approval, say aye, please. Aye. All right. The second item on our agenda is Kara with the Recreation Department. She's going to give our report. And again, since we want our members to be included in everything that's going on in our complex, we have a number of important departments that give us reports throughout our meeting. Kara is the director of the Recreation Department. Please.
Thank you, Joe and district delegates. I wanted to say that we had a great January. We did an activities day. We had an Elvis concert. It was great to see everybody out and about at those events. Elvis did stay a little bit later and do a little one-on-one with several of the participants for that evening. So a big shout out to all you guys for having a great time at that Elvis concert. If you are interested in being a vendor at the craft show, you want to make sure that you turn in your vendor application by Sunday, because Monday morning at 9:30 a.m. will be when the table drawing is. So you'll need to turn in your vendor application. Those are at the flyer rack at the main clubhouse lobby, and you can fill out that application. There is a box that you submit those in, which is at the other side of the door. There's a big brown box on the wall. That's where you put your application, and we'll do that drawing on Monday morning at 9:30 in the multi-purpose room here at the main clubhouse. The craft fair itself will be on March 11th. Comedy night is going to be on Friday, April 10th, here in the main clubhouse. In February, we are also going to have a blood drive. That's going to be Monday, the 20th. There are flyers now in the lobby, also on the web page, where you can have your the phone number to call and make your appointment, or you can use the little click link on your smartphone to go to their web page to make those appointments. In March, we've got some other fun things going on. We've got a Swinging 60s concert on March 3rd. Like I said, we have that craft show. We have the Sunday concert series coming back in March. We have a fan favorite Switchback in March as well. So please, if you need any information, come see Linda, myself, Nadine, or Felicia. Check out Channel 97, the web page, the flyers in the front lobby. Don't want to forget about those of us who like to travel. Silver Linings has a lot of fun things going on. They're going to the Living Desert out in Palm Springs and stopping by at their Greek Fest. They're going to Newport to do a harbor cruise, a taste of Route 66. They're even going to Mission San Juan Capistrano. So they've got fun day trips planned. And remember, you can bring your friends and family with you. It doesn't have to be just a Sun Lake resident. Meridian and Premier also have lots of travel trips for those long-term, those of us who are a little bit more adventurous, and we've got information on that at the front desk. I didn't want to leave without one thing. You guys did such a great job as districts and district delegates and all your little helpers or holiday elves in collecting funds and purchasing presents. Debbie Franklin has given me thank you cards for all of you that you can share with your members who helped you be so generous. So I have thank you cards for everybody, and she, from the bottom of her heart, gives a heartfelt thank you to all of you. So thank you for being so generous this year. Does anybody have any questions? Yes, ma'am.
It's not really a question, it's a comment. This morning, we had a Niners golf brunch over at the North Clubhouse, and the flag, when we went to do the Pledge Allegiance to the flag was pushed way back in a whole stack of chairs where you couldn't even see it.
Okay, I will talk to the facility monitor about that.
Thank you.
Thank you for bringing that to my attention. Anything else? All right, you guys enjoy the rest of your afternoon.
Thank you, Cara. Thanks for the report. Next item on our agenda is our Food and Beverage Department report. Thomas? We have a... No, I know who you are. This is our front manager. Joe, go ahead.
So those of you who don't know me, my name is Joseph Johnson. I am the food and beverage manager here, front of the house manager, as Joe kindly said. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. How are you? I'm going to give you just a quick update on what we have going on in the restaurant and lounge for the month of February. To start, our Super Bowl Sunday, which is on Sunday, February 12th, which we were going to have here in the ballroom. You know what? Unfortunately, due to low ticket sales and interest in that, we are not going to be holding that here. We are actually going to be having that in the lounge. We're going to be doing the big game over there. It's going to be going from 2 p.m. until 8 p.m. in the evening. We will be having menu specials. We will be having drink specials throughout the entire evening. However, unfortunately, we didn't have enough people to get into the ballroom here this time. So, mark your calendars for next year, because we want to do this. We want to have a big game through there. Show it up on that big screen right behind you. So, hopefully next year we'll be able to do that. For those people that have signed up for it already and have pre-purchased tickets, and there really was only about 22 people, we are in the process right now. I'm working with the accounts payable department, and we are putting together refunds for everybody. And we're going to be getting those out just as soon as we can. We're calling everybody and notifying everybody about those refunds. So if anyone's asking, that's what we're doing. Also in the lounge, starting tomorrow, we will be offering our February drink specials. They're going to kind of be along the lines of Valentine's Day, Palmtinis, the Berry Lovely, Raspberry Hot Kisses, Raspberry Cold Kisses, and Cupid's Red Sangria, which will be Thomas's own little concoction. I can only imagine will be interesting, but delicious, I'm quite sure. On Valentine's Day, on February 14th, from 4:30 to 8 p.m., we will be hosting a quite fantastic and lovely dinner. It's going to be a 3-course, basically a 4-course with dessert dinner. It is $39.95 for a single ticket, $79.95 per couple. I will say this, I just got back from the host stand and looked at the tickets for that event, and we are almost sold out. So we urge everyone to go ahead, if you're interested, is to give us a call there and get those tickets signed up quickly. And finally, this last Sunday, we had a fantastic turnout for our end-of-the-month Sunday brunch. It was really, really nice. I've heard nothing but great compliments about it. I wasn't here, but I've heard wonderful things about it. So let's remember at this, the coming end of this month here on the 26th of this month, we will be redoing that Sunday brunch again. And that is $37.95 for the bottomless champagne. It's $27.95 without the champagne. And children ages 5 to 12 is $17.95. So we have quite a bit of activity right there in the middle of February, but we're looking forward to having all of you there. So any questions? Yes, ma'am.
Press it hard. There you go.
I understand that a new menu is coming out.
That is correct. Our executive chef, Chris Rubino, is working on that currently. He We're pretty close. We're pretty close to having that completed. We're going over some of the final numbers. We're talking with, we're looking at some approvals that are going to be needed for that. My hope is, and I just, again, spoke with Chef before I came out here, and we're looking at sometime mid-March, end of March, springtime for sure. Okay?
Also, there is a Tuesday night lounge special menu.
Correct.
That a lot of people weren't aware of, a lot of people aren't aware of, even some of the servers weren't aware of it, and it's a wonderful menu for the lounge that you can get on Tuesday night.
Correct. You're talking about the 3-item or 4-item addition in the lounge. We do have that up, and we do have it out on the website through there. We've had it for a couple of weeks. If you're telling me my servers don't know this.
Yes, they don't.
The hair that I don't have is standing up on the back of my neck right now, I think as you said before, but I'll be looking into that, sure.
Also, Chef Chris has announced that any meal can be turned into a gluten-free meal. And if anybody has any dietary restrictions, the kitchen would be very, very happy to accommodate you.
And I echo that. Yeah, absolutely. He and I have talked about that, and that is a dietary concern with many. And so we're here to try to provide whatever means necessary and that we can do for everyone that needs that. So, okay? Yes, ma'am.
Joe, because I don't go to the lounge on Sundays, is it normally open?
It is.
It is,
Yeah.
okay.
On
So-
Sundays, yes.
Okay, so.
From 11 a.m. until 7 p.m.
On
Now,
Sunday?
On Sunday, yes.
Oh,
So, what's that? In the morning, yes, until 7 p.m. And sometimes even longer. It depends. If we have a special event that's going on in the ballroom here, we're trying to now make sure that we're staying open a little bit longer for those people that are coming out of the event, so they have the ability to come and join us in the lounge for drinks and dinner if they like. So it still is the lounge menu, but they're more than welcome to do so. Okay? Anything else? Okay, that's it.
Thank you.
for your
Thank you
time.
very much for giving us a report. The next item on our agenda is a report from the Sun Lakes Charitable Trust, and we have the chairperson of the Board of Directors.
Joe is still in the room, so he's going to hear this. He's hard to follow because he has what's called a radio voice, and I might even sound squeaky after following Joe. He has a great voice and a good message for us. Each of you delegates have on your counter, maybe you put your paperwork on it when you came in, but it's the listing, it's the URL, it's the Sun Lakes Country Club CharitableTrust.org website. We promised you the last couple of months that it was being developed. It would go live in January, and that happened on January the 30th. We barely made it, but it's live, and I was just showing a couple of people here on my iPhone, showing the site on the phone, and it's working really well. You can find out all about the trust. We want to be transparent. That's a term we've heard a lot about over the last few years here at Sun Lakes. And so in our drive to be transparent, board members are listed, and you can contact us. The local charities that we support in the future will be making their grant application on that website. That was the thing that delayed it for a week or two or a couple of days till that was really functioning right. We had to make a change in the software we were using, but it's a fun site, and I think you're going to enjoy it. I gave that to you because it's the full name. You need to type it carefully, because if you have a typo, it's not going to come up. Sun Lakes Country Club Charitable Trust. It's in print there in case you want to share that ever. If you need filler in your newsletter, you don't have enough to say, you can put that in there. Thanks.
Thank you, David. Were there any comments? Okay. The next item on our agenda is an EPAP report. None of the EPAP executive team could be here today, so Linda Spalding will give their report.
Thank you. EPAP had a successful activities day last month. They received 2 volunteer forms for District 2 and District 15, and they are meeting with those volunteers in February. They met with another interested volunteer from District 4. Clark Botha, pharmacist from Loma Linda Highland Springs Pharmacy, that's a lot to say, has confirmed that he will talk to our residents about managing their supply of medications. The meeting will be held in March and details will be announced soon. He will discuss the need to have a 7-day supply of medications on hand and how to get your pharmacy to pay for it. He will also discuss changes in Medicare Part D that started this year. He will be open to questions and answers at the end of his talk. In the Lifestyles magazine for February, they had featured an article of the importance of using your file of life. In March, they will feature an article about shelter in place with valuable information for emergency situations. In April Lifestyle, we will introduce a new feature called Meet Your EPAP Coordinator that will highlight each district's companion group. Information included will be a short bio for each coordinator and why they volunteer for EPAP and a description of the EPAP program in their district. There's a big yay here, yay. We have found a secure area to store a new emergency generator. In our August 2022 executive management meeting with the late Dan Comerford, he requested that EPAP make this the top priority. In the event of a prolonged power outage, this will enable EPAP to utilize the bus room to provide electrical power for residents that rely on oxygen. During such an emergency, EPAP will activate its radio system and keep EPAP coordinators informed about the status of the bus room and the outage. Also, we now have 2 individuals who have agreed to help rebuild the EPAP patrol unit and take on duties of that unit. They are currently researching what will be the best generator for our needs and what additional supplies will be needed for a smooth operation. Thank you from EPAP. His name is Clark, C-L-A-R-K, Botha, B-O-T-H-A, and he's from the Loma Linda Highland Springs Pharmacy. Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Good.
One over here, Linda.
Yes, Ray?
When are we gonna get our certificates for the first aid classes that we took?
I'm sure he's watching on TV, and he will take note of that right now, and then he will contact you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay? Anything else? Thank you so much.
Thanks for the report, Linda. I appreciate it. The next item on our agenda is a report on the Welcome Home program. It is a little sad to let you know that Sandy passed away this past Sunday, and so we certainly are going to miss her. She organized and was appointed to the Welcome Home years and years ago and did a fabulous job over the years of hosting the meetings. So the Board of Directors will reorganize the Welcome Home panel and take care of it for the next meeting, which probably will be in March. That's right.
Joe, I'm really more here to say, from my understanding with this report, is what Manny sent out this month is good, and you guys like it? Yeah?
It's, okay. The problem that I am hearing from the delegates is that the print is too fine.
Still?
The new one is okay.
Okay, that's how it will be sent out from now on.
Okay, that's what we wanted to check and make sure.
Yep, so that's what I'm here to tell you. That's how it was sent out there. From my understanding, everybody was okay with it. He will send it out in that fashion from now on. Okay, perfect. That's it, I'm done, Joe.
No, you're not going to get off that easy. Go ahead.
Joe had put Manny on the calendar, on the agenda, to talk about all of the abbreviations that are shown on the new resident data forms. A lot of the residents do not know what those abbreviations stand for. Here, over here. Okay. Yeah, this one's good. This doesn't have one. Not a very good, okay. You know how, this doesn't have any either.
It doesn't have the.
Does someone have the
The-
report that was sent out?
Here, this one?
Yes, here's a good one, right here.
Okay. So you're talking about these right here?
Yes,
Okay.
the NOO and all of those. Sorry, and I guess I should turn that off.
Okay, so my understanding is the very last column, those abbreviations that go into there, it's the opt-out column. So a few years back, law changed to where everybody has the right to opt out if they don't want anybody knowing their information. What those mean is if they opt out, that means when they register with the office, they pretty much say, I do not want my information going here, here, or here. So if you see something, abbreviation in those, that means they've opted out of that entity. So EPAP, obviously they've opted out at EPAP. DD, district delegates, they opted out from giving information to the district delegates. Welcome Home Committee, WHC, opted out of giving any information to the Welcome Home Committee. So that's what those stand for. So if somebody doesn't want any of their information, they let us know. I don't want it to go here, here, or here. So I know years back, we used to be able to give information about everybody to delegates. We can't do that anymore. So if they opt out of something, we have to respect that and not send it out.
Okay, I have a question, I'm sorry. I don't know if there is somewhere on this form, where Manny can indicate whether or not the resident is moving from another district in Sun Lakes. Because I remember talking to Cheryl last month, and she said her and Sandy would be surprised how many residents would mention during the dinner while they were talking about what they liked about Sun Lakes, that they had lived here for 3 years. And I have a resident in my district that my zone data sheet said he moved in September, but somebody I know right now has known him for 3 years here. So is there some way we can add, or he can ask them if they've moved from a different district? Because then they would not qualify to come to the Welcome Home dinners.
Exactly. Yeah, I can work with Manny on that. That's
Okay.
simple as just, we know we have the information, so we can just do that. Now that I'm looking at the sheet, I see there's some other little initials there.
Okay,
Okay, so the third column over, the new tenant, non-owner occupant caregiver column, you'll see T's, NOOs. Well, it looks like T's and NOOs. So T is a tenant, so tenant renter. The NOO is non-owner occupant, which means they're not on title of the home, they're just an occupant of the home. Yeah. No, they would not be a tenant, no. Difference between a non-owner occupant and a tenant is a lease agreement. So whether we on file, if we have a lease, you're considered a tenant. If you're not charging rent to that person, and you see it all the time, you know, significant others, I should say. So you're not married, both of you aren't on the title of the home, one person's on title, the other person's living with that person, they are a non-owner occupant. Yeah.
Will we ever record the homes that have a caregiver if they come aboard?
Yeah, this one will have it, so you'll see a C. If there was a caregiver, it'd be a C.
Okay.
Yeah.
So all caregivers will appear if they appear in some home and they register at.
Right,
Of course, they have
that's what's kind of over the years have modified. Joe, you remember back in the day, it was just new homeowner. It didn't matter anything else, it was only new homeowners that were given.
Okay.
It's modified to change, and so now the latest rendition will have, say, tenants, owners, non-owner occupants, and caregivers.
Okay, good. Any questions, please? Over here, Marie.
Yes, ma'am.
Would you please use the microphone? Turn it on.
Could you clarify one more time who is eligible to attend the welcome home? Because in the past, there's been some confusion as to whether renters could come or the significant others could come, or if they aren't on the deed, can they come to welcome
Yeah,
home?
if they are registered, from my understanding, it's to where if they are registered, whether it's a non-owner occupant, tenant, or homeowner, if it's their first time being in Sun Lakes, they are invited.
Okay, thank you.
Caregivers, I think you invite I don't think caregivers should be invited.
There's also a reference to the delegate attending. If the delegate is attending, I believe its significant other can attend with the delegate, whether it's a husband or a wife.
And only if you have a new
And
person, right, Joe?
I'm sorry.
So
And-
if, say, Joe, you didn't have a new member at all this month, and you say you had a welcome home, you wouldn't be going to the welcome home because
No,
you
no.
don't have a new member.
No, if the delegate does not have any attendees, they do not attend. Secondly, that if the delegate cannot attend, the alternate delegate should be there. There should not be a representative from the district. Okay, it's either the delegate or the alternate delegate that attends.
So no zone captains, coordinators, or anything, it's
No.
one of those two.
That's been the rules, and I think it's been sort of set aside the last few times, and it shouldn't be. Okay? Any other questions? Thank you, Jason.
Not a
Thank you
problem.
very
Thank
much.
you.
The next item on the agenda, I placed it on the agenda in order to have information from the board perhaps to, and for the delegates to discuss the reconstruction of the lounge. However, it might be this time, Bob, would you like to tell the district delegates what's going to happen?
Yes, I'm going to have Chris Mitchell explain that to us.
Oh, good, thank you.
I'm going to have Don Day explain it to us. So right now, as you came into the main clubhouse, you may have seen the layout. There's a board that is right next to the library bar as you walk in that shows the potential layout of what a lounge renovation, expansion could look like, and what some of the architecture could look like. And what this is, the main purpose is to inspire residents, to provide comments to the board, suggestions. We've received a couple of suggestions from the Restaurant and Lounge and some other committees. And so, and the delegates, we are looking for the delegates to weigh in what, their thoughts. And right now we are in the development phase of kind of what would an expansion look like. And there's several options. There's several options have been discussed about shrinking the restaurant, eliminating the restaurant, expanding the sandwich to the whole thing. There's several different desires within the community. And so the board is trying to gather all that information. They have hired a architect firm to put their ideas to paper. But right now you see an initial floor plan that is being looked at that goes back 2 years, 2.5 years that this has been talked about. And now we're trying to move it forward if we're going to do this or not. And so right now it's at the input phase, development phase. So any input, send to Don Day.
Speaking of input, the two biggest concerns right now are dog park, yes or no, and expansion of the lounge, yes or no. So what we're doing is with the help of Ajit, who's done an excellent job, we're going to be sending out a survey. A survey, I think, is attached to your newsletter. You may have a copy in front of you there. It's a brief 5-question survey. It'll help us determine, do you want these items, yes or no? So please take a look at the survey, and Ajit, would you like to take a minute to explain to them what it's all about? But this will help us. It's not a survey where if we get 51% says we must have a dog park, we're not required or mandated to, but we want to get input. We want to know what membership is interested in, and do they really want a expansion, and do they really want at least one dog park? Go ahead, Ajit.
Yeah, the survey has, I think, about five questions. Two of them are on the dog park, and one is on the lounge expansion. We added another one which asks for people to note down whatever concerns, issues they have that the board might want to address. There's also another question asking for specifically for a person's name and email address. Now, we're doing a multi-channel survey, meaning there are multiple ways in which a person would get the survey. One is direct mail, but hopefully the delegates will be able to give it to every person in their community, in their district. But we'll also try and do on channel 97. If we have time, we might do in Lifestyles and Sun Life, and also possibly, and this needs more discussion, placing it in the restaurant and on the notice boards. Now, the reason for doing it multi-channel is to try and cover as many people as we can. Now, there are three ways in which a person can express their opinion. One is through the survey that you have right now which you'll hand over to your district members, right? But on there, they have two alternatives. One is there is a URL, a link, and they can put it on their browser in the computer, and they'll get onto an online survey. It's the same questions being asked. Or there is a QR code also in the handout that you'll receive, or you probably have it with you now. And you can just use your smartphone camera, point your camera to it, click, and a code will appear, a link will appear, and you click on the link and you'll get to the same questionnaire. Now, the first question asks for a person's name and email address, and the reason for doing it is so that we don't double count responses. So if you speak to homeowners, ask them to just do it only once, and it says so in the instructions also. And if they do it more than once, hopefully we'll be able to find out from their email address and eliminate those additional responses. Now, tell them, please, that this is an anonymous survey. Now, they might ask, well, how is it anonymous if our name and email addresses are there? And you know the reason why the email addresses are there. But by anonymous, I mean that the report will not associate any individual's name with their responses. So in that sense, it'll be anonymous. Also, I'm the only person who will be handling it, and credibility is very important, and so rest assured it will be kept anonymous. Please encourage people to use the link or the QR code, and instead of jotting down their responses and giving them back to you. And the reason is, if they do that, then it makes for a clean survey, and the speed of analysis is greatly increased, as well as the mistakes that one can make by collating all the responses, etc. So we'll be able to give a quick analysis. So that about covers what I wanted to do. Feel free, if any of them have any questions, to tell them that they can call me. My name is Ajit Desai, and they'll find my name and email address in the telephone book. Okay?
Thank you very much.
Okay, here's exactly what's going to happen. Okay, first of all, the survey will be attached to your newsletter, so it behooves that you present your newsletter for printing within the next week or so, okay? Because the due date is going to be the next meeting here in March. So that's the first Thursday of March, okay? Now, in the interim, we ask you to do this. Once your newsletter has been distributed to your homeowners, okay? They're going to be distributed to the homeowners. That newsletter will have the survey attached. We are asking the homeowners to do the survey, and we are asking you to make sure that your zone captains check after the first 4 or 5 days or a week. They don't have that many call or rap on the door and say, do you have your survey done? We want the surveys from every homeowner that we are responsible for in our district. If you gather your surveys, either give them to Dolores or give them to me in the interim. Otherwise, you can bring them at the meeting, but every district will return the surveys by the first meeting, the first Thursday of March at our meeting, okay? Now, this also does not mean that the dog park or the reconstruction of the lounge has been approved of by the board of directors. There have been no approvals done. Is that right, Bob?
We're just
Okay,
getting
so this
membership
is
input.
all exploration, and we must give our board of directors credit that they're trying to find out what the people of our community want before they go into these two events. Okay? And are there any questions now on the part of anybody? Go ahead. Use your microphone, please. The survey was just handed out to each delegate, and it will be attached to every one of your newsletters.
I didn't get one.
Dan, it looks like this. It's about 4 pages, and this is the
I know
front
what
page.
they look
Okay.
like.
No, he didn't have it. He just wasn't here at the time.
Okay, there. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, I just, number one question they ask, even though you're saying it's not going to affect the HOA fees and stuff like that, is what are we going to, and it comes out of reserve funding, what do we have for budgeting? Is it $1 million? Is it a $500,000? People ask that question every time, Bob. You know, what are you looking at as far as going into our reserve fund?
It's a capital improvement fund. It's not in the reserves. It will not impact the HOA fees whatsoever. Is that correct? That's correct.
But it's still our money. So
So that goes
yeah,
back to.
I love that idea. What I'm saying is the architect had to be given some kind of direction as to $1 million, 500,000.
Well, as we make changes and as we decide what floor plan we want, that will determine the price. And so right now, again, a development of what are the options that we like, then they can cost it out. But we can't keep saying, well, I like this, and then they cost it. Then, well, we like this and cost it. We're trying to get all the input, all of the information requests in. The board then reviews that, tells the architect, please, give me options with this, these type layout, et cetera, and then price it. But when you're designing the car, you're designing the restaurant, first, before you even look at the total cost of the project, you kind of have to have just, what do you want first? Then price it out and go, we will not proceed with that. We're going to have to either cut it back or that's going to be a future time. There's an estimate. It could be $250,000 if you're just leaving, or less if you're leaving the footprint. But the more that people want, there's been talk that some comments have come in, cover the whole veranda and expand out. Well, that's a lot of money, and I don't think so. Right now, it's just fact-finding of trying to find out, what would you like? Would you like more lounge, less lounge, all sandwich, minimal restaurant? Out onto the patio? No patio. Fire pit? No pit. Whatever. Those are ideas, a lot of ideas, and now the board, again, 2.5 years of trying to whittle it down of what, because everybody wants something different. And it's trying to get all the ideas down to say, these are the three options. Let us price it out from that, and if we're going to decide if we're going to move forward or not.
Okay,
All right, Mike, let me say something, and this might solve another number of questions here. The funds will come from the Capital Improvement Fund. It is a special reserve that was set up in 2005. It was a fund set up to handle any additions, any current construction, anything that the board needs that is outside of our regular reserves of repair and replacement. Now, we had to do that in 2005 because we enhanced the workout room in the North Clubhouse. And at that particular time, we got the membership to approve of the $2 a month addition for 2 years. And we knew that was not going to fly very often if there were additions or something that had to be added to, or some new construction that someone came up with, like the bocce ball courts. That's an example also. They were added on. We obviously had no funds. But we did establish the Capital Improvement Fund that's set up by itself. At the moment, it has almost $2 million in there, and it's a little bit added each month, so it's a savings account so that we can fall back on once the board decides and the homeowners decide that they want something added to or built. Okay? Does that handle the financial end of it?
Yeah, the main thing is the surveys. We just want input from membership. Are you really interested in this? So we can continue to, make plans.
Yeah.
They may not be. So this survey will help us and give us some direction. Thank you.
Okay, yes, go ahead. Rena.
She was first. I know, go ahead.
Your mic on?
What about the ones that are doing it online with the scan?
Once again?
What about the people who are doing the survey by the scan? They're not going to have a hard copy.
Yes, they will, definitely.
I know it will be in the
It's going to be attached to your
newsletter, but we're
newsletter
not gonna-
in the same form and the same print that you have in front of you.
Right, but what I'm saying is we won't be turning in a hard copy.
Yes,
after-
you will be turning that survey into us, either Dolores or myself.
No,
I'd like to clarify this. If anyone is completing the survey online, either by using the QR code or the URL, then they don't need to give back the hard copy to you, okay? Makes it easier, that's all, okay? And in fact, you don't need to keep an account of who has done, who has not, I mean, we will gather everything together, and hopefully we'll have, all that we need is about 500, 600, 700 responses to make it statistically valid survey, okay?
Okay. Steve, you had a comment? Or not, Steve? Go ahead.
More of a question on the capital investment. Does it require an ROI?
No, it does not.
It doesn't? Even if you're affecting our lounge and our
No.
restaurants, which could be investment, they're all investment issues.
No, it does not.
Okay, thank you.
Go ahead.
I just had a question about this. You're saying that this is going to go out in our newsletters?
Yes.
I think that when you've got the dog park and the lounge on the same sheet, it's going to get ignored. I think it should be separate.
We hope not, and we hope that you, plus your zone captains, will keep rapping on doors or calling the members of your district so that they will not ignore this report.
Well, it's like they said, even if they're doing it online, they read over
No,
here, you've got
it's-
the dog park, here
Yeah.
you've got the dog park, and then down here you have the lounge.
Yes.
So
It's both projects need the input, the board needs the input, and it's up to us to make sure we get that input for them.
Okay,
So
why
you have
are
a
there
chore.
two?
Yes, you have, each delegate has a chore. They have to manage their district, and they have to get that report back, or at least verification that your homeowner has voted someplace or sometime. Go ahead. Judy?
I was just trying to figure out why there was two on the dog park. There's two places here.
If you read the question, what one has to do with if they have given a certain answer and then skip forward depending upon the answer that they give. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's very brief.
Okay.
And I think people, if they're interested in getting their feelings known, I'm pretty sure they'll take the time to do this, little 2-page, 4-question survey. Yes.
The survey does not have a lot of details. All it wants to really know is, does the membership want a dog park or not? Does the membership want to have the lounge enhanced or not? Really, basically, that's all they want an answer to of those two questions.
Okay. My question is, you have the URL or the whatever to answer. And if I go door to door to my people and they say, oh, yes, I scanned it, but maybe they didn't. I don't have a paper to say if they've turned it in or not. I'm confused with that.
Yeah, no, that's all right. I don't think we I don't think we can count on getting 100% response. But even if we get 50 or 60%, my point is that it will still be statistically relevant, and that's what we're looking for, statistical relevance. Okay, so ask them to do it online, all right? And if they can't do it online, ask them to give you back the hard copy. And if there is a problem, resistance, don't worry about it. By the way, tell them it takes no more than two minutes to complete the survey, and they can spare 2 minutes. But if they don't, well, that's all right too.
So we have to go to every door.
So you want us to go to every door?
No.
No, I'm not suggesting that. Just distribute it the way you distribute your newsletters.
Okay.
If people ask you questions, you can have them refer it to me, or you can respond to it yourself.
You've got to employ your zone captains in this endeavor because they are the key of getting replies back. Now, if they have 10 homes and they find out 2 of them have already voted on the somehow, then they don't go back there. They know there are people. So they'll contact the other 8 to find out if they have a report from them or when. Unless someone says, I am not going to do it, you don't bother them. That's it.
Yeah. Joe, I did want to clarify. The accounting is done by individual name and email address, which means that if in a house you have 2 individuals, they each can submit the survey, and it's uniform for everyone. So there's nothing unfair about it, okay?
In the past, we have had surveys that have just disappeared. We have no idea where they went. We don't have any idea where the results are and so on. That's why we will get the tabulations, but we will not add, or we will not tally them. We will take them in bulk and turn them into the board of directors. And that's it, or into the in the office. And the board will take it from there, okay? So that's the end of our job, is to make sure we contact every homeowner in our district and make sure, at least ask them to please vote or take the survey. Go ahead.
This says on here, it's anonymous, and if they put all their information on here and hand it back to me, it's no longer anonymous, is it?
Yeah, the anonymity refers to their name being associated in the final report with their choice, whatever choice they make. Okay.
They're going to find some homeowners that won't sign this. Don't worry about it. That's the board's problem.
Yeah, Linda, yeah.
Okay.
Linda has a question, yeah.
Well, I would just like to say that I don't think the two surveys should be together at all. I think the lounge reconstruction is much more important and should stand alone.
Well, okay, the board has already decided to put the survey out, so that question or comment is sort of academic at this time. The copy of the survey has already been sent to the printers, I'm assuming, or will be on its way in the next day or two. So it's at the printers, ready to be attached to our newsletters. Bob?
Yes, last time we did a major survey through the district delegates, I think it was like about 8 or 10 years ago, and it was like 31 different questions were on that survey, and here we're dealing with 3. You know, so I think it's, and these are the main topics right now that everybody's concerned about. Dog park, yes or no? Expansion, yes or no? We're just trying to get input. So I think it's really a brief, concise, and I appreciate Ajit coming up with an excellent short survey. But some of the surveys that we've done here in the past are very, very extensive, and I think this will do what we need it to do. So I appreciate your time and efforts in trying to get that information to us. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, one more.
Okay, this survey says it would prefer that you do it online and scan it instead of doing it manually.
Yeah, and I don't know why that was put in there. I think that was a mistake, but that's personal. I don't know why it was asked online, because I would venture to say only about 60%, if that, people in our community have computers. So why depend entirely on, by putting that comment in?
Well, see, I think I mentioned that I thought people here were tech savvy, but maybe they're not.
Okay.
So at least that's the hope, you know.
But I think we'll have to cope with that. That's
yeah,
okay. All right?
The thing is, you know, if people do it online, the results are instantaneous, the tabulation is instantaneous. So my preference is that people do it online. When I have done the last survey I did, we got about 300-400 people responding. That is statistical relevance, you know. So I think we if we can get a combination of both, with about a count of about 500, 600, 700, I think it'll be a good survey. You know.
Okay. Okay, finally, Dolores.
One more thing. Okay, I think that's where the delegates, including myself, we can mention in our newsletter that the survey is included, and if they don't want to answer both the questions, they don't have to. That's their option. If they feel like it's more important to get the lounge expanded, then just answer that question. Or if they don't really care because they don't frequent the lounge, they don't have to. But they can, if they care about a dog park, they can do that. But it's up to us as the delegate to mention it in our newsletters.
We're probably going to hear that, oh, I'll do it online, and that's just to get rid of you, or get rid of your zone captain. So it behooves us to really get our zone captains to sincerely knock on every door and see if they can get a reply. All right? No more questions? Good, we're done. Thank you. The board report, Bob?
Yes, what we're going to do from month to month, we're going to have different board members come up, you know, with myself to answer questions and be available for the district delegates. So that's why we have Beverly here today. So she'll go ahead and start with the announcements.
Thank you. I printed mine in bigger font so I could read it easier. So, as you know, the elections are coming up. You can still pull papers if you're interested in running for the master board. There's 3 positions available. They have to be, your papers do need to be turned back in by February 8th. And on February 10th, a candidate orientation meeting will be held at 1:30 in the administrative conference room for everybody who has turned in their papers. There also will be on March 1st a Meet the Candidate Forum for all the people who are running. So if you're interested, come on down. Yes, we have that. We are conducting a survey, as we've just talked about. And this is something, as everybody has said, this is just yes or no. You know, if 100% of people respond, then I'll want to know where everybody was when the elections were going. No, but if we get a huge response one way or the other, that is going to tell us whether or not we should continue forward. It takes a lot of time and energy and money to look into either one of those things. So if everybody says, oh no, the lounge is just the perfect size, we don't want to expand it, then we'll quit working on it. But that's what we're trying to find out, is what everybody wants. So we really would appreciate it if you can answer these. I agree with you, Joe. I think that we're going to get the majority via paper. But we will get some via the internet too, and that'll be fine. So it's important. This is your chance to let your voice be heard. Please go through and respond to that, because that will give us some good information moving forward. We are also in the process of developing a Sun Lakes master plan. Before I tell you about that, we'll note this as well. Our first meeting is February 8th. It is at 2:30 in the Sandwich, I believe. Back up. Okay, the first meeting is in the North Clubhouse, February 8th at 2:30. But I believe that that's going to be a smaller meeting, because we're going to do another one in March as well. This is something to go a little bit over and above the strategic plan that we are working on right now. This is more of a master plan, a long-term look at who do we want to be when we grow up? What is Sun Lakes? And what is our vision for Sun Lakes? And how are we going to get there? What are some of the steps we take? So it's something bigger than just a to-do list, and it's something that's going to involve every person who lives here. This is not just the board doing this. This is the board and management and the residents and the delegates and everybody who has a stake in Sun Lakes, which is all of us. So it's going to be an interesting process, and one of the things I've learned being on this board for the last 2 years, patience is a virtue. So this will take some time, but it's really important, I think, that we have something moving forward that all of us can buy into, all of us can be on board with, something for the future of Sun Lakes. I bet everybody's wondering where the carpet is. Well, Lori is going to tell us all about it.
Hi there. I'm Lori Hazelton. Good afternoon. I'm a member of the Master Board of Directors. I have an update on the status of the carpet for the ballroom. The carpet was actually delivered for installation, but it was not the top grade casino carpet that we had ordered. So it was sent back to the manufacturer. They are currently making the top grade that we ordered, and it should be approximately 4 weeks until we get delivery again. So that's the update. Thank you.
Thank you, Lori. You know, and I just want to add on to that. We worked with Shaw Carpets, and I want to give them kudos for taking that carpet back, for realizing that they messed up and not giving us junk. Granted, we have to look at this carpet for another 4 weeks, but we are getting what we ordered, and I really appreciate that. That's the kind of vendor we want to work with. Okay, back to the glasses. We approved the installation of a concrete berm around the RV lot dump station and washing station. This was something that the city requested so that we could keep the waters going in the right place. So that has been done. The expenditure was $11,250, and it was funded from the Capital Improvement Fund because it's something we didn't have before. It's something new. The listening sessions are coming up. We've got another one coming up on Monday, February, this next 6th, thank you, at 3:30 in the Sandwich. This is, again, an opportunity to come talk to a couple of board members. Jason is usually there, and just tell us what you're thinking. You know, that's how we can test the pulse of Sun Lakes. So please, come down. You get cookies and coffee. It's very informal. It's a great way to talk to your board member and just let us know what's on your mind. We had been talking about closing the gates, all except for the 2 main gates at 10 o'clock at night. Well, that brought up a whole lot of conversation, as we well know, and we have since decided to not do that. That doesn't mean it will never happen. It may come back, you never know. But right now, we are not going to do that, so the gates you will continue to be able to come through the gates, all gates, with your transponder at all times. So thank you for this is the time when people spoke up to let us know what you wanted. And see, it works really well. We can only do what you want if we know what you want. We also are getting bids to put shade structures and new scoreboards and benches on the bocce court. I guess they must have looked at the pretty courts that we were doing over there for pickleball, and they want the same. So we're looking into getting some quotes on that. Community awareness program that Michelle has been running and has been doing a great job is scheduled for Tuesday, March 7th, here in the main ballroom from 1 to 3. And we have Gerald Winkle. He's the program manager from the American Red Cross. He is going to be talking about earthquake preparedness and free smoke alarm installations. No, he's not. Michelle, you want to tell us what's really happening?
Good afternoon, delegates. My name is Michelle Walter, and yes, I'm the coordinator for the Community Awareness Program. So Beverly, you are right, but that's for next month. So I
did say March, but I forgot we have one coming up too this month.
We have one coming up, yes. We have one coming up on February 7th here in the main ballroom from 1 to 3. And our guest speaker is Captain Alyssa Bernal. She is a correctional captain at Riverside County Sheriff Department, the Larry Smith Correctional Facility. And I don't know how many of you know that we do have a correctional facility here in Banning. It's off of Hargrave Road. So she's going to come in. She's got a great presentation, and she's bringing another officer with her to explain how they book, why they book, where they put them, what they do. So please come out and participate in this presentation. Yes, and so on March 7th, from 1 to 3, I have guest speaker Gerald Winkle. He's the disaster program manager from American Red Cross for the Southern California region. He is going to do a disaster preparedness workshop to help you identify actions to be taken before, during, and after an incident. The presentation will focus on earthquakes and special consideration for older adults. You will have the opportunity to sign up for a free smoke alarm installation of your residence, where a team will come and visit your home at your convenience to test your existing alarms and replace them right away if needed. So you'll want to come to this, and I know that the EPAP would like to be involved in this too. So I'm hoping everybody will come to this. This is March 7th. It's on a Tuesday. Our meetings will always be held on the first Tuesday from 1 to 3 here in the main ballroom. And again, our next presentation is on February 7th from 1 to 3 here in the main ballroom. Any questions? Thank you.
Thanks, Michelle. That's all we have right now. Do you have something else, Bob?
Yes, I have one other thing, is that we regularly meet, we meaning the board, president, vice president, and First Service meets with the city. We meet with Art Vela, public service director, and also the city manager to review, shared concerns that we have here in our community. And the thing that we were focused on yesterday's meeting has to do with the fountains. I'm sure everybody's concerned about that. So what's happening is that we're still restricted. Level 2 water restrictions from the city still prevent us from having a decorative waterfall. However, they can change that, and the way that they have to change it is to have the city council vote and change their level 2 restrictions. So the next meeting is going to be, and it's on the agenda, next meeting is going to be Valentine's Day. So if you're not doing anything on Valentine's Day, show up at the city council at 5 o'clock and express your concerns. because what we would like is to have the opportunity to turn our waterfalls back on. But we can only do that. It doesn't come from the governor. It comes from the city right here. Each district sets their own levels and their own standards. And this district has not really liked Sun Lakes that much in the past, in my opinion. That's why they were very restrictive. And Beaumont and all the other communities have all their fountains on and waterfalls on. So if we get the city to agree to that, then they would bring it up for a public hearing. Public hearing then would be in March, the end of March. I think it's the 28th of March is a tentative date. We don't have it set yet. But if they approve it on the 14th, then they'll have a public hearing. And on that particular date, if they vote and say, yes, we will change it, then 30 days after that, we then would be authorized, to turn our waterfalls back on. Now, that means that we're allowed to by the city. In order to do that, there's going to be some repairs and expenses that we're going to have to go through. But it would be great to have the opportunity to be able to do that again. So anyhow, it helps having the quarterly meetings that that we do with the city officials, and it looks like there's a good possibility of that happening. Any questions? Yes.
Would you please use the microphone? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
She was talking about the governor's mandate, which is up on June 10th, right? So we don't know what, if he's going to extend that or change it, but the existing restrictions have not changed. They've been the same all year, but the governor's mandate is different than each individual water district restrictions, because every district determines what is their standards for a level 2, and ours are different than other, regrettably, than other communities.
Okay.
So we're trying to get them to change that, and yes.
Hi, Tech. Can you tell me if the public hearing was required when level 2 mandate was installed?
That I don't know. I assume it was, but I do not know, because that happened before, years before. They didn't just make that. That was years ago that they set up what those requirements were, in different tiers, but that was set up years ago.
Well, I understand there's tiers, but to activate the tier, you're saying to reverse the tier, there has to be a public hearing, and then there has to be a 30-day waiting period after that.
Yes.
I'm just wondering if to send it the other way, put the mandate upon us, there was also a public hearing.
There probably was. I wasn't involved in that, so I can't answer that question.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, the administration, Chris?
Well, Beverly took most of the items regarding the election calendar, which is online. I wasn't here for Joe's presentation. I apologize. I was out in front with a member. But if you go onto the website, there's a calendar for food and beverage, and that will allow you to see what is happening at future dates. We are working with the food and beverage team, laying out what is planned for the next 6 to 12 months. For example, today we met before the delegates meeting talking about March schedule and what we'll be doing for St. Patrick's Day, which is Friday the 17th. There are some items right now that we are working with Thomas and Joseph and Chef Chris for a week-long specials during that time. So more information to come. We will be working with Hernan, Good Day Sun Lakes, promoting that, as well as updating the calendar so you can click on an event and see what kind of specials, what the menu is, what's happening. I know, Linda, you brought up that there was the Tuesday lounge specials, and you can go on there and click on that link, and it will send you to where the specials are. So with that, that is the... Yes, and on Tuesdays, the lounge is open 11 to 7, or to 8, I'm sorry, 11 to 8 on Tuesday. So you can go in there, have some specials, have some drinks, trade stock tips with Matt if you wish. But we are open Tuesday in the lounge, 11 to 7. Also, the Sandwich is open 8 to 11 on Tuesdays as well. That was a change we did beginning in January. That's probably my timer to stop talking. Thank you, Bob. We changed the Sandwich. We posted some notices on the door, also on the website, that Sandwich hours are moving 8 to 11. Then lunch is now served only in the restaurant on Wednesday through Saturday. What was happening before is there was a dual effort. Sandwich had lunch after 11, stayed open till 3, and then the restaurant had lunch. And so you're doubling staff, but not really generating more revenue. And so some of the changes that we made with scheduling. There'll be more to come on that as we look at hours, evaluate different days of the week. There's also a discussion of, again, where the board gets input from is the members, and there's been a desire for 24/7 happy hour. Is that what I'm just? But seriously, there's been a request for more happy hours, and so that is something that we are looking at as well for certain times and dates that we can target to increase the patrons' usage of the facility. So more to come on that. And the most important thing is Jason has some items to hand out to the delegates for your gift cards for the events that you may have in your respective districts. And
Great.
you will need to sign for them. It's very important. It's also important that you, as delegates, communicate to your alternate delegates where that money is or where those cards are. Sometimes when there's some changes, cards are lost, or there's concern that they didn't receive it. That's why Jason is passing them out and getting each of you to sign for those cards.
Chris, will there be a menu available on Tuesday in the lounge?
So there is a menu, a special Tuesday lounge special
Menu.
that is done, that we have.
Okay, so, okay. Any questions on the part of the administration? Go ahead.
Beth, you mentioned pickle.
I don't think your microphone is on.
Cal can help you. I think his is still on. Thanks, Cal.
There we go. Here, this one. It's the battery ran out. You mentioned pickleball. When are the courts going to be worked on?
So they start on the 6th. They'll probably be done after Valentine's Day, maybe. Go ahead, Jay.
I just spoke with the installers today. It will be mid-next week is when they'll be able to start.
They'll start on the 5th?
Mid next week. So that means that they probably the 8th, and they'll be done probably after the 15th. We will keep you updated with E-Blast as well as Good Day Sun Lake's updates on that progress.
Okay.
I take it you're anxious to get out there. That's good. That's
Mike,
I've
go
had
ahead, Mike.
I have people asking questions.
Asking for a friend. I appreciate it.
Do you think there'll ever be a time in the near future that we'll go back to our sandwich operating hours that were existing prior to COVID? And people that lived here 30 years, I think everybody's totally confused what's going on, and it's got to be costing us a fortune when things are open, what the menu is. I mean, I get hit every day with, is a sandwich open today? and this. I mean, for 30 years, we always had basically the standard operating procedures or hours. Do you think we'll ever go back to that?
Well, I think we're also seeing changing demographics. What was 30 years ago, people came and they were tired. You have people that are working. So we're seeing sales trend for breakfast where it used to be big, even 7 years ago when I started. And it has been reduced. And No, I don't think, I think we have to adapt to what the market will bear and what the members desire. And where they show their desire is where they're spending their money at. And where we see Fridays and Saturday nights, people, you know, that's our best days. Wednesday happy hour is a driver. Thursdays, so-so. Tuesdays, so-so. Sunday, when it's a brunch or specialty, people come out to that. I think what we're going to need to do is just be smarter with the facility. I think, again, pushing the lunch to the restaurant frees up the sandwich after 11 for catered events. So if it's a men's golf club that's having a tournament, they can then use that room for their awards, their banquet. We just have to be smarter with how we're doing business. I don't think what was done 30 years ago applies today. I just think we're seeing different demographics. I think there's more, and the reason the board is looking at the lounge expansion is there's more of a desire to have social interactions, especially after COVID, in the lounge, coming down, having a drink with a friend, talking about the day, talking about what they're going to do, you know, golf tournament or in activities. And so, no, I think we're changing. We have to adapt to it. I think we can continue to push on social media, on even here the flyers, and even utilizing the lifestyles on the hours, because the hours are in there. We put the menu on the last one, and then it was cut accidentally by, because there wasn't enough room. And that's another thing that's happening with the lifestyles. They have a limited amount of pages, and as more clubs and everyone want to print more, everything that we put in shrinks. There's no GM report anymore in there.
Thank you.
Because there's just no space for it. We have to either do it on social media or put it on the website. And so, again, thank you for saying that you keep getting hit for what hours, what time it's open. We'll continue to do a marketing campaign to remind the members of the hours that we're open.
Okay.
Give that back to
There you go. You?
We got one that works.
Speaking of confusion, the lounge is open on Tuesday to when? What day?
So the lounge is open Tuesday through Sunday.
Through Sunday, from 11 to 7 p.m.
So Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 11 to 8. Friday and Saturday are busy days. It's 11 to 10. And then Sunday, it's 11 to 7, except if there's friendship, if there's ICC or some event going on, they will stay open in order to serve and quench the thirst of the patrons that
Right.
come out from the event.
Okay, and then lunch only in the restaurant Wednesday to Saturday or Sunday?
Wednesday to Saturday.
Saturday. Thank you.
Is golf attire? Well, golf.
Don't ask about hats. Don't ask about hats in the restaurant. That's but that's another thing that members, so again, and delegates, we're gonna ask for your help. And if it says in the message to management, it helps, because right now, and Lori will attest that we hear a big push of people wanting to wear hats. And what about the collars? And some people want the collars, some people want to relax. That's an area where we need your input as well, because right now we're seeing down the line that some want classy joint, and some I just want a place to come in after I come back and meet my friends and have a social event. But what was your question?
Well,
Better use Cal's mic.
Do we have to?
Joe's going to get mad.
We get off the golf course and we look for lunch, and the sand trap is closed.
Sandwich.
Sand
Trap is down over there. We don't talk about the
It's all about
I
the
see you're
sand.
attending the Sand Trap, okay.
Hey, I do thank you, and all the golfers do, I'm sure, for putting out the money to do the bunkers on the front nine of the golf course. Anyway, golf shoes, in the restaurant.
Mhm.
No problem?
You can't have-
Attire, shorts, all that good stuff.
So, go ahead, Jay, because I think this is another item that we've talked about.
So that is something, as you guys know, the board brought back the Ad Hoc Rules and Regulations Committee, which is looking at the rules and regulations that have been in this community for the past 30 some odd years. As we know, things have changed over the past 30 some odd years. Initially, the dress code for the restaurant was put there because back golfers had spikes. They were all metal spikes. Nowadays, raise your hand if anybody in here has metal spikes on their golf shoes. Nobody. That's something that the committee is looking at because that's what ruined the carpet. That's the reason for that rule in the first place. Now, those plastic, even the plastic detachables that you can replace, they're not tearing up the carpet. So that is something the Rules and Regulations Committee is looking at because is it needed anymore? Probably not. So they're looking to take that out.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, that's another survey.
Any more questions of the board? Go ahead, Jim.
Will the TV in the bar area be fixed before Super Bowl?
No.
In the bar or the lounge or what?
The bar. There's a software update bar that goes at the bottom of the TV. It's been there for about 4 weeks.
Okay. then
And
I
it
will follow
blocks
up with
off the
staff,
scores.
Because we know that there's right now we're having an issue with Spectrum in the sandwich where there's an error and the TVs aren't working, but we can follow up with Matt and the team over there.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, everyone? Now, the delegate comments. Barbara, you want to start?
Okay, when I was not here, my alternate asked a question about waste management dropping glass all over the street, and I wondered if there was ever any communication with them or whatever happened with that.
So we're reaching out to their public information officer to let them know if we are trying to get some resolution with that.
Okay, because every Tuesday there is more glass, and
So just
I
look
have to
community
watch
awareness.
when I walk my dog. That's it.
The glass drops out in some areas. We've had some reports of as they're picking up trash, the trash can dumps refuse out, the truck continues going down, and the refuse stays there.
Okay, go ahead.
I just wanted to remind you that this is Black History Month, and if there's anything that we can do to help promote that, we're willing to do it.
Thank you.
Jim Nichols, District 3. I have no comments at this time. Thank you.
Okay, Dan.
Dave Miller, District 5, no comment.
Nancy Murray, District 6, no comment.
Fran?
I am Fran Hanratty, and I am alternate delegate for District 7. I would like to invite the residents in District 7 to join us on the third Thursday of the month at 8 o'clock in the Sandwich. We have breakfast there, and we meet there, and we have a speaker come, like the board of the directors or someone from the administration. So I just like to invite our residents of District 7. Thank you.
Linda?
I'm Linda Vieira, alternate for District 9. Our delegate is ill. Please send out good wishes to George Meldrum, and that's all.
Go ahead.
Dolores Doherty, District 4.
No.
Oops, I'm so
You're
sorry.
at the end. Go ahead, Pat.
Now I'm a nobody.
Pat Puckett, District 11, no comment.
Ann Hofert, District 12. I did pass out a flyer before the meeting, and I would like to see if we can support the Pass Action Group. I'm asking each of you delegates to please, if you will, put the information in your delegate newsletter in some way. The flyer is advertising a fundraiser in efforts to fight against the warehouse, as we all know. And they're calling it this time the Friends Follies. If you don't have one, I'll give you one before I leave. It is going to be Sunday, March the 26th, from 3 p.m. in the afternoon till 6 at the South Clubhouse. The cost is $40 per person. There'll be fun contests, a silent auction, food, and wine. Just for fun, they called it Friends Follies because they would like to have the couples dress up a little bit, copy each other in what they're wearing, same shirts or hats or whatever. So just to be fun, that's the theme this time. And there will be a lot of contests going on, and tickets will be available on March the 20th. And checks can be made to Pass Action Group and taken to the 5972 Indian Hill Drive. So tickets will be going on sale, and they'll go fast. So because it's at South Clubhouse, we would like to invite everybody who wants to be part of that to get their money in. Thank you.
Thank you. Jeannie?
District 13, no comment.
I'm Judy Crail with District Delegate for District 15. And I just had a couple of questions. Well, I had one comment. I wanted to tell all the delegates that Cheryl has asked me to thank all of you for what a great job you did on the calling your residents for the last welcome home. And she just wanted to say thank you for that. And I wanted to ask, you were talking about the gates not being closed, that was set aside. What, was there something wrong with gate 5 last week? Oh, never mind then. All right, so the other thing that I wanted to ask is if there is, I had a call from a resident with the trees that is on the golf course over in her yard, and it is dropping all the stuff to her yard. She wants to know who she should call. You? Chris? Thank you. All right, and that's all.
I have no more comments.
Nita Cook, District 17. I have no comments.
Linda Spalding, District 19. I always have comments. I just want to take the opportunity to say Pitch Putt and Party will start up again in March. I do not have a specific date. I will get information out immediately. We have a little date conflict because we had a meeting yesterday. We play on the executive course, and it's once a month, but I will get that information out to you. After play, we come up to the Sand Wedge for food, fun, and drink. Question for the board. Carpet installation, I just want to put this out there, is if the carpet, my New England accent kicks in real quick, doesn't it? Carpet. Could it be done the day after bingo? Because bingo seems to have been displaced quite a bit this month, and I think they were told that, I just wanted to put it out there, if it could just be done after bingo. And
We'll do our best to schedule it around
I
and
appreciate
not
it.
interfere with other activities.
I couldn't play for 3 weeks, just saying. Okay, at the last delegate meeting, I got approval from Bob Walter and Randy to take on the project of decorating gates 1, 2, and 5 for Christmas. I'm very excited about it. And I would like to put this out. If you have any Christmas decorations that are in good working order, please call me. I'll pick them up. I'm storing them. I want to thank Dory, who brought me over 9 bags of lights after she tested every one of them to make sure they all worked. That's going to be a huge help. And I had another lady who put Christmas things on her porch, and then on Facebook she said, nobody's picked them up, so I'm throwing them away. Well, I called her immediately, so I have all of those. So if anyone has Christmas decorations, please call me, because I want them. We have 3 big gates to decorate next year. Thank you all so much.
Barbara Luna, District 20. As a newbie, I just have a question of the rules for these cards.
You have a question on the cards? Go ahead. What's the question?
Well, I don't know.
Okay. Chris, you want to give them the rules, or you want me to, or?
So, well, both of us can, Joe. So first, you can make a donation to the Joe Firmino Action Group. It is meant to be for your district events. So say you do a quarterly welcome to the community. You walk around and say, hey, just come over. We're going to have some event. You buy supplies for that. Anything that's related to supplies used for your district. No alcohol, please. We ask that you don't use them for other things, not alcohol. Joe, I think that it's really just meant to be for the committee, for the district to spend if you're doing anything, a recognition, if you're doing any supplies for a quarterly event that you're doing, that's what you're going to use the gift card for.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Usually
Wait, Joe, I apologize. Let me have Jason. I'm thinking of the gift cards. Sorry.
So these gift cards, for each of you guys have events throughout the year. And what these gift cards are for is for at your events to give out to your members. Keep in mind though, you can't have like a raffle. Okay? You can't say, give me $1, I'll give you a ticket and your input for a raffle for a $25 gift card. What it's going to be is like a door prize. Everybody that comes to your event has an equal chance to win it. They don't have to, that whole thing, no purchase necessary. No purchase is required. So we can't have them pay any money for these. You give them out as just little gifts at your events throughout the year. Any questions on that?
No. Okay. They can be used, this gift card can be also used in the pro shop. So it's either the pro shop or the restaurant, period. That's the only place that they're good. All right? Barb, you have any more questions? It's strictly given back to your people. Usually, most of the districts have them as door prizes. And where you have an event and you give everybody a ticket. That's it, okay? Cal, next.
District 21, no comment.
Mike?
Mike Bowles, District 22, no comment.
Dan Cosner, District 23. I have a couple comments. Our new residents in District 23 are still having problems with their transponders. They're talking 2 or 3 times they've been replaced. I just been fielding all of these complaints about that. And the second thing was street sweeping. Is this something that may be in the future for us again? This would take care of that glass problem in the middle of the streets.
That may be an item that comes back, the street sweeping. But on the district, your district members' RFIDs, are they reporting that to you, or are they calling admin?
The transponder problem?
Yes.
They quit calling me. But I just refer them on to Jason. I said, give him a call.
Okay. Because I know another member was having an issue, and so I want to see if there's a problem with the RFID, the readers, or if it's a sticker issue. So I will get with Jason. He can let me know what is happening in your district.
Yeah, he probably is well versed with the Joneses.
Okay. Dolores, you're on.
Okay. The Dolores Doherty, District 4 Delegate. Like my friend Raynell, I have nothing else to say.
You shocked me. Okay, I have a couple of things that are, I think, important. First of all, the Welcome Home program, I think, is very beneficial to our community. And right now, the Board of Directors is looking at it and probably really reorganizing it since Sandy passed away. So We will probably have a welcome home date sometime in March. Okay? That's that. Secondly, the phone book. Now, practically every one of us, if not every one of us, and every one of our members of our community use the Sun Lakes phone book. Years ago, Jack Sidwell used to assist Jim Miller. Jim Miller is the publisher of it. Jim Miller depended upon Jack to give all of the changes in the rosters of the members of our HOA. Well, as you probably know, Jack passed away, and his assistants just melted away. And we ask all of the delegates to please contact Jim Miller and supply him with the fact of the deaths in your district so that the people can be taken out of the book and the newcomers coming in and so on. We would like to ask the administration if Manny could send every month, like he sends the delegates, a list of all of the newcomers arriving at Sun Lakes. Is there anything wrong with that, since our members depend upon this phone book?
Let me talk about that because, again, there's an opt-out issue that we're having to deal with now, and several members are upset that their information is getting out.
Well, okay. When they sign in and on this sheet, they get a chance to cop out their phone numbers or whatever on this, and that's usually the one they want. They don't want their phone number publicized. So this sheet is edited by them before it's even published. So what is wrong with it being sent to Jim Miller?
Let me talk to you offline, Joe. Jason
Okay.
and I will talk to you. We can discuss that.
Okay, very good, please. The second item I would like to check is, years ago, Jack and myself sat down with you and Tammy on the newcomers coming into the front office and getting their indoctrination, so to speak, from somebody. I know that that was bounced around because Howell is gone, Leslie is gone. Is that being done by everybody, to everybody, for everybody that comes in the front door?
The new homeowner orientation.
Yes.
Is done by Manny.
Yeah, well, is Manny doing it now?
Yes, Manny's doing that.
Okay, does he have the folder with all the handouts that we authorized at that time?
I believe he does, unless there's a bit additional, same folders and everything.
Okay, then that's fine. I just wanted to check. Okay.
Can I just, there's a news alert, breaking news.
Yes.
Bob put that in as a breaking news item. So there is on Sun Lakes Boulevard, there's a huge pothole forming between gates 3 and 4. It's been reported to the city, so if the membership sees it, it has already been reported to the city. Be cautious out there.
Okay. Okay. Okay, we would like to ask the residents, the members of our HOA, if anyone has any comments, please come up.
Mine's just short and sweet. Michelle Walter, Community Awareness. I just wanted to let everybody know on April the 4th, we're going to be having a business expo here in the main ballroom. We're going to be inviting all the Banning businesses so you get acquainted with them, whether it's a tire company, a salon, a restaurant. We will be having some restaurants in here, and the board has approved for them to bring their food in, so they may have samples of food, so you'll be able to see what these restaurants have to offer. So that, again, that's going to be on April the 4th here in the main ballroom, and it's going to be from 5 to 8 o'clock. Thank you.
Steve Neese. David mentioned transparency earlier. I'd like to continue with that and be a little transparent with the delegates. Most of you probably do not know this, but 4 months ago, the board approached me to be chairman of the dog park committee. And my committee is comprised of 4 people in addition to myself. 2 were chosen to be against the dog park, and 2 were chosen to be for the dog park. And my position as chairman was to be neutral and help both sides. We have worked on this for the last 4 months. This morning at 10 o'clock, we put the final package together to present to the board next month. In addition, we put the presentation together this morning, which will be given to the board visually and audioly next month. This will all be done at their executive session. So why am I mentioning this to you? Well, one of the things that just happened today, which totally surprised me, is that a survey is being done. Now remember, Joe, last month you were asked not to bring up the dog park for various reasons, and you very nicely said no, and you took it off the agenda. We on the committee, well, by the way, we have 2 board advisors to the committee. We on the committee wanted to do 2 things. Number 1, there are 4 locations that the pro-dog park people want in Sun Lakes, which will be presented to the board next month. We wanted to go to the neighbors of those locations and ask those neighbors with the correct questions, will you allow a dog park by you? And the second thing we wanted to do was work with the delegates. We wanted the delegates to put out a survey with the correct questions, not do you or don't you, but do you with these conditions or don't you with these conditions. We were turned down by the 2 advisors to the board and said, no, you will not do that. So this morning when we put our package and presentation together, we could not include that in the report, which we thought should be. Now, why am I telling you this? Because neither I nor anybody on my committee were asked or consulted about what you were just asked to do, which is send out a questionnaire to your residents. We wanted you to do that, but we wanted to control the questions, which would be the correct questions, which would allow your residents to say yes or no based on these conditions. That's not going to be done now. We would have also put it on 1 piece of paper. We would not have included it with another thing like the lounge. So, transparency, I'm telling you this just so you'll know that the Dog Park Committee will be presenting to the board next month without the facts on what the neighbors think and without the facts of what the district delegates found from their residents. So, as I say, that's transparency. If you have any questions, I'd like to answer them at this time. If not, I'll get off.
Steve, I believe, I'll give you one answer that I have heard, but we're not going to go back and forth on this, okay? That the question on the survey just wants to know from the members of our HOA whether they do or do not want a dog park.
Yes.
Period. That's
Yes.
all they want to know.
Right.
The location will come and where it is and what have you will come at a later date.
Right.
But if it fails, then the discussion is over. If it's affirmative that they do want the dog park, then the discussion will continue on. Did I say that, Bob?
Correct. Perfect. Matter of fact, it sounds like you did the survey.
I listened. So that's all. That's the reason that the survey wasn't passed out to anybody and said, give us back the questions and what have you. It's strictly, as a member of the HOA here, do you want one or not, period.
Exactly. And all I say is we on the committee would have appreciated being consulted on that. That's all.
Okay,
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, Steve. Ma'am?
Good afternoon. My name is Dory Gartsky, and I'm the lady who's collecting all of the recyclables here in the community in order to provide income to the Pass Action Group. What I would like to do is ask each of the delegates here and each of the residents who might be viewing this to keep in mind it's still an ongoing process, and I still would like to have people come to my home and bring their recyclables so that I can turn them in for money. You can talk to your residents when you're just having casual lunch or interacting with them in some activity that goes on here, and just bring my name up again and say, hey, do you know Dory Gartsky, who lives on Spanish Trail Cove, is still collecting recyclables? That's all I ask. Thank you. Oh, I have a question.
Dory, when you say recyclables, do you mean only the bottles, water bottles and soda pop cans and that thing? Or do you collect more than that?
I do collect more things. Where we are generating the most money is from those items that have a CRV on the container. However, the particular recycling center that I go to will accept milk bottles. It will accept glass jars that used to have peanut butter or jelly or pickles, something like that. I will also have other items that do not have the CRV that the recycle center has agreed to accept because I explained to them what it was for, and they want to help us.
I believe you also accept wine bottles. There should be a plethora of those here.
I accept. We are turning in pretty close to 300 to 400 pounds of wine bottles.
That's Sun Lakes for you.
Yes, and they're generating money for us. So please keep mentioning my name. I will be doing this until the final decision. Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome.
One more question.
Thank you.
Yes, a gentleman asked me my address. I live at 6029 Spanish Trail Cove. Thank you. Oh, second question.
Quick.
Yes, the restaurant, the food and beverage restaurant has generously given us everything that's left over at any party that happens here, and many of the clubs are also participating. And I would kind of point out here, I do have a recycle bin in this ballroom that I'm hoping everybody will contribute to. If they happen to be in here for an activity and they finish their drink, just put it in my container. It's over by the window there. And I pick that up every other day to make sure that we don't get ants or any types of critters. And just like I say, I'm going to be doing this to the bitter end. So please don't forget me. You are all contributing to the fight against the warehouse. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments. I have one last plea, and I beg, particularly the television audience that might be watching, hopefully are watching this program. District 8 does not have a delegate or an alternate delegate. I am looking for help. Anyone that might want to represent that district, please give me a call. We also need an alternate delegate for District 21. Dr. Roger Smith had to move out because of his health and his wife's health, and so they are no longer here, and he was the alternate for District 21. So we need an alternate for District 21, and we need a delegate and an alternate for District 8. Please give us some help. And with that, unless there are any other
Joe,
comments.
Could I interject 1 second before you
Please.
adjourn? I forgot to mention that when we had our meeting yesterday with the water department, there's a water leak alert number. You might want to take this down. It's 951-849-6296. Call that number and report it, and they will come quickly and make repairs.
Could we repeat that?
The number is 951-849-6296. And that's through the city of Banning for any
Okay.
water leaks. And then last but not least, in honor of Groundhog Day, we'll see everybody here at 2 o'clock tomorrow.
And by the way, the groundhogs saw a shadow, so we have another 6 weeks of unbearable weather. Anything under 80 is cold as far as I'm concerned. And this meeting is adjourned. Thank you for attending. I appreciate it.